Okay guys, I'm getting set up over here, getting ready to make these caps for the valves, and also going to make this roller. Well, I've got the material in the lathe. And what I'm using here is this is a cylinder ram. You probably can't recognize the threaded end of it here, but this is a hydraulic cylinder ram. And I've used this for several years. This thing was about 6 feet long, and it's down to about 2.5, 3 feet now, but it's real good material to make this kind of stuff out of. I think it's like 1018. It's something pretty mild and easy to machine. And I get it for, over to scrapyard. I'll find something like this laying around and buy it for making parts out of. So let's go over to the lathe. I'll show you what we're going to do here. So here I've got a chunk of it, about a foot or so of it chucked up here. This is the chrome back here, and I just took a skim cut. Took about 1/8 inch off to remove that chrome and that hardening. And underneath that is some really nice machining steel, pretty tough stuff. And that's what we're going to use. So to do the roller, this has to be down to 1 inch and about 4/100. So I'm going to, get a section of that, and then about 1 1.25 inches for the caps. So I'm going to rough in that and get that stuff, those cuts made, and be able to go from there. So I'll show you a little bit of it here, but really not a whole lot to see. And I'm taking, probably 1/8 of an inch off. Well, about a 16th, of an inch. But this is just generic machining to get this down to size, and then we'll come back in and start machining some of the features. So on the roller, the actual roller itself is 1.415. And as you saw in the gear there, the cam itself, it's got some wear on it, probably, I'm going to say 30 thousandths. So I'm going to go about 30 thousandths larger on this. Let's just round it off to 1.450. So the roller is going to be 1.450 in diameter. So there's that measurement. And we got some material to remove yet. Okay, I've got roughly 15 thousandths to remove here. So I'm going to take about 14 and file down that rough surface and go from there. Now that 1.450 is going to be back here. I'm going to cut off these sections out here for the valve caps, and that'll leave this section back here for the roller once I get work back to it. I may cut this off and shorten it up in the chuck too. I don't know yet. I play all this just by ear here. I don't have any drawings. I write down the dimensions I need over on the paper, but I don't have any drawings, and I just start whittling away, and if I don't like what I'm coming up with, I change it. So it's very simple. I don't profess to be a machinist, so we're just doing it this way. Well, that turned out to be right at 1.450. So even after I clean it up, it'll only take a 0.5 thousandths to clean up that that roughness there. It won't take much at all, so I'm not going to worry at all about that. And we'll get on with getting down to our diameter here, which is 1.250, inch and a quarter. So we'll take these down to inch and a quarter, and that will just nicely cover the spring. So that's what I'm after there. Alright, I got to change the cutter here. So I've put one in I can machine a step with here that's not angled. I'm just switching around these cutters here. And let me get my level out here. We'll level it. This has a bubble in it, as you can see. And you just put it against your stock and put it on your top of your cutter and make the adjustment. Level your cutter, that way your cutter's at the right spot there. And let's bring this live center back into play, and we'll clean up this shoulder here. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to have to touch up that cutter. It is dull. Carbide cutters, I've got a green wheel over here that I'll use to touch that up. I'll be right back. Okay, got it roughed in here. Spring will fit on it like that. And then I'll cut this off up here. I'm going to go ahead and drill a 3/8 hole in here. And we can cut it off, turn it around, machine the other end for the pin. Alright, I'm going to drill 23/64 and ream to 3/8, and we'll see how that fits the stem. Here's a 23/64 bit. Let's plunge it in there. A little oil on this one. And I'm going in pretty deep here because all these parts will have a 3/8 hole in them, so I just as well do the drilling operation all at one time here. I may make some shims and caps and other things too while I'm at it here, so. Just keep working at it here, clearing the chips. Run a little bit of cutting oil in there just because a little easier on the drill bit. Okay, a 3/8 chucking reamer. I love the sound of a reamer. Oops, turn it a little bit, clear it. It'll let you know if it gets plugged up with chips. If you're doing super precision work, it's not a good idea probably not a good idea to do this reaming operation this deep, but hey, I don't care. Whoops, I should care. There we go. Alright, there we go. Keep cleaning them off a little bit here. Keep going. Yeah, we'll see if a valve will fit here. Oh yeah. I like to hear that sound. There we go. Very good. Put a little chamfer on it there. I like that. So the plan is I'm gonna go back with the live center here. Snap it in place. The plan is go ahead and part this one off. This side of it's done. I can turn it around in the chuck then at a later time and do the other side. And cut the second one now. And I want to do all this while I'm a hold of it here and have concentricity on the part. And then after I can unchuck it here, I'll take the smaller parts, turn them around, and we'll finish them on their other side. So let's get back engaged here and get ready to part this off. Let me change tools here. And I might as well polish it up a little bit before I take it out or cut it off. Be a lot easier to do now than it would be later. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to have a finish on it anyway, so it could end up rusting anyway. So good enough for now. So let's get in here with the cutoff tool. Make sure I've got enough room to work here. I'll back off here a little bit. Give me some room. There we go. And I'm going to leave about, probably 1/8 of an inch here. Doesn't need much. And we'll plunge in there and cut that off here. Gonna start pretty slow. And a lot of times I have to make adjustments on the speed here to get it to run good, not chatter. So I'll try to keep my arm out of your way here. I gotta be able to put oil, a lot of oil on this operation here. So give her a shot here. I try to cut off at a fairly low RPM. It's really easy to make a mistake doing this, plunge too hard, you know, and wreck the tooling or something like that. So I Usually try to take it easy. I won't bore you with all that. I'll be back when we get a little closer. Yeah, I wanted to reposition you for a little bit better view of this. I haven't always had a lot of success with the lighter weight lathes I've had of doing this operation of cutting off. It takes a pretty rigid setup, pretty heavy machine. This is a 13-inch Sheldon. Not the biggest on the market, not the smallest either. Great for my little shop here. It does everything I want it to do so far. And I just keep plenty of lube on it here. And we'll get down to that 3/8 hole here in a second. And it'll pop free. If you're bored with this, you can fast forward, of course. But some guys like to see some of these turning operations. So, try my best to show you here. Now, it sounds like I'm getting pretty close to the hole down there. I can hear it starting to get quiet. It's going to pop loose here in a second. There it did. I'm going to reach up, turn it off. And we can back the live center out. Part will probably be a little warm, and that's fine. And here it is. We'll clean it up and see what we got here. All right, here we are. And to knock a burr off this side, I'll go in there and chamfer that when I chuck it up for the next operation. But here's a spring. Whoops. Here's a spring. There's how it's going to fit. Now, I may make a cap to go over this and come down here a little ways. I don't know yet. We'll see. That'll look cool. And that would also capture the pin in there. So we'll see. We'll see about that. See if we can do that or not. Don't know. Got to think about that one yet. But this is kind of a work, as I'm not planning any of this. I'm just kind of running the camera every once in a while. And what we come up here with here will be a surprise to all of us. All right, we're going to continue on here with some machine work here. The old valves had this hole in here with a pin that would go through it for spring retention. So I've got to drill the new valve, this hole in a new valve stem. So we're set up here to do that. We'll see how this goes here. So what we've got, let me bring you in close and show you what we're doing. So all I've done is set up a V-block with a clamp here in the vise on the Bridgeport, and gonna use the chuck here and drill this. I've got a V-block here that will go in here. Got a little brass shim here to go on top where the screw tightens down on it so that it doesn't mar the stem. Let me get that tightened down here. There we go. Now I've got to find the position. I want to drill right in the center of that, so I have to find the position of the vise. So I've got a digital readout up here above you there where you can't see it, but it's up here where I can read it here. We're gonna find the center of this and make a little drill point there and go from there. Let me go over and turn on the rotary phase converter. So I've got an edge finder, just a universal edge finder. I'm going to stick in here. And I can plunge this down here, and we're going to find the center. Let me unlock the table, get us moved over. Let's fire up here. I'm going to bring this out to where that edge finder just finds that surface. And you watch it there. There it's touching. And you watch it offset. There it offset right there. I'm going to 0 the y-axis. I don't care about the x-axis right now. So that's 0. I'm going to bring it up. Crank the table back. Come back down. Find it again. Touch. There, and now it just offset right there. That is 571.5. So we're not splitting hairs. I'm going to call that 571. It's actually 571.5. I'm going to call it 571. I'm going to split that in half. That's 285.5. I'm going to bring this down and crank the table back this way to 285.5 on the readout. And right there, that should be dropping down right dead center on the center of that valve stem, and it is. So now we're going to get set up. Take this out, we'll get a center drill in there. And we'll go down and find, I want to split the difference on that center drill, on that hole. We'll put it just so, I'm just going to eyeball this, the distance from the end of the valve down to the hole will be right there, and I'm going to lock the tables. And we're going to make that drill. Just pick a little hole in there, a little starter hole with a center drill. There we go. Now the pin I'm putting through there is a 5/32 pin. So what I'm going to do is drill that with a 5/32 bit. I've got one here that I'm going to put in. There we go. Get a drop of oil on it. And we'll put it through there. I just kind of pick it through easy. Not trying to rush the matter. I've come this far, I don't want to ruin the part now. I'm just about through it. There we go. Now I want to chamfer that. So let's put the center drill back in. It's got this nice angle on it here that will chamfer that hole very nicely. Now I want to turn it over and chamfer the other side too, but when I loosen it and move it in here, I'll lose the register. I'm just going to turn that over like that. Now I just lost that register, so I've got to find it again. So let's put the drill bit back in. My hand's probably right in your way. I apologize for that. Now I've got that. The valve is loose. Let's plunge the bit back through it. Just like that. That finds our register again. Registers the bit with the hole. Let's tighten this back down. That should feel just fine, and it does. We'll put our center drill back in. And we'll chamfer this side. Okay. Let me get that out of there. I'll show you what it looks like. And here we have a nice concentric hole, chamfered, ready for a pin, a retention pin to go into it now. See if that shows up. Get the focus for you there. There we go. That was the goal. Alright, I'll show you what I've come up with here. Get a spring over here. On the exhaust valve, this here is what we've come up with, is this piece. Of course the spring will go on. This will go on. Excuse me, there's a pin that'll go in here. This pin goes in. Then that comes up and locks the spring. Get it set up here so you can see it. There we go. That retains everything. They're going to focus. Don't know. So anyway, let me go off camera here. Wanted to get my focus point set so you can see this, but anyway, it's not working too well. But anyway, you get the idea. So that's what I ended up coming up with on that. And then here's the intake valve. Spring goes on it. Then here's what I come up with on it. I'll go ahead and screw it on there for you. And then way this intake valve comes up, pops in there. That retains the spring on it. And then there's a lock nut that goes on top of that to stop that from turning. So we're going to try that first, see how that works, and go from there. And that'll assemble up in the head here. We'll put it on the engine and see if it works. If we can always change things later, if not, and go from there. Let's just pop this in here. Get in the right area there. There it is. Pop that on. Take this. And I found that it's easier if I lay the head down like so. Then I can push down on this retainer. Push down on it. Stick the pin in. Let that up, and there's what it looks like all together. So then the intake is easier to do. Pop it in there. Spring. Retainer. And I can reach around here and screw the valve into it like this. Put the lock nut on it. Put the lock nut on it. There it goes. Alright, and there's the valves. So we'll see if that works and go from there.